Hey, been a while. It's actually been a long time since I made a video like this. I made a couple at the start of the year. I did a random remix, but when I checked out the video back to do some editing, I had double voice audio and I couldn't salvage it. So I had a few attempts to make videos this year. I know it's now middle of February for the first one, but I thought I'd do a video breaking down the most recent remix I did, Craxy Undercover. This one, it's up, so check it out if you haven't already. It's a Numetal rock kind of vibe, so I was very excited to do it. It's the kind of music I was playing when I was younger. So I'll just go through the tracks, the sounds, what I was going for, what worked, what didn't work. Hopefully maybe inspire someone to give it a shot themselves. Maybe if you've got any tips or anything you've done similar, put it in the comments so I can learn a thing or two. But yeah, the song was actually recommended to me. I hadn't heard it before, and just after maybe the second listen of it and the sort of the timing of it and the beat and the song layout, for some reason Numetal sprung into my head. So what I wanted to achieve is a fieldy from Korn bass sound and the drums and guitars of Limp Bizkit. The first instrument I really picked up and fell in love with was the bass guitar, and like technically my second bass was an Ibanez. I still got it and I used it for this track because I was mad about Fieldy from Korn, just the style. Didn't realize just how crazy he was as a first choice bassist until later on. I think at that time most people I knew who played bass were just playing with a pick. It was punk, it was very standard. Whereas I was there with 5 strings and thumb slapping, even though I didn't really understand the whole history of thumb slap and how weird, even for Fieldy, like how unique he was. So I was really excited to try and get that tone. Guitar-wise, I hadn't really explored much into Wes Borland's Limp Bizkit style, but I knew I kind of wanted that heavy riff with the Limp Bizkit style drums. When I was in a band growing up, our drummer, good friend Stu, he loved John O, and he would have his style, so I kind of knew what it was, a sort of hip-hop influence, but with obviously more heavy, and a big snare with a big Wes Borland guitar sound and the Korn influence as well. So I'll show you how I went about that. Basically, I looked at a few YouTube videos, tried to look for rigs, any sort of websites or videos that had Wes Borland or Fieldy or all that in it. So I got a few ideas just off YouTube and tried to do something similar. But yeah, let's just go through the tracks and show you what I did for each part. So we've got the drums first. As kind of with most tracks, I used GGD. So yeah, I wanted a kit that had a big snare sound, and I wanted a kick drum that wasn't too clicky, like for a metal band. I wanted something that sounded a bit more organic. So you see the snare here is a Pearl Vinnie Paul snare, quite a deep one. And then the main thing was just like having, especially for the verse, some more hip hop associated kind of riffs. Stuff like that. Also, the intro, a little nod to Blind by Korn. So I had that in the background. And then a simple kind of beat there. So yeah, that was it for the drums, just hip hop patterns mainly. John Otto influence, big fat snare sound, winner. So for the guitar, I have these 2 tracks here, and here is just the same riff with a little bit of panning. Let's bring up the amp. I'll go get my guitar. So for the guitar sound, I used using bias effects too. I looked for a PV amp that with a humbucker pickup kind of did the job pretty close to it anyway. Just using this setup, really had to go high treble. I'll come to that in a sec. So yeah, you can pretty much hear it's just a pretty simple guitar setup. But yeah, I found it was a bit The high end, as you can see, I've cranked up the high end to the max here, but it's not quite done it. What I did was add drive, like a screamer replica pedal, but not anything cranked, just having it in front of the channel just to give it a bit more oomph. And then that with the panning. So yeah, that's the amp sound. I did 2 separate takes of the same thing, so when you hear them together, the little differences with playing kind of help bring a bigger sound. So it sounds like this. And yeah, so this was the main guitar sound throughout. Comes in again in the sort of bridge, just normal riffs and the octave, an octave melody. It just kind of gave me a totally 2000s vibe. So there's this. And yeah, I think that's all you heard using that sound. And so moving on to the bass. Green track here is the bass. I have 2 bass tracks. The reason for this is because where those guitar parts and the chorus and stuff are in, I just use a kind of traditional fingerstyle playing. And I use my Ibanez from back in the day. So I use the same Ibanez that I talked about that I've had since I was like 14 years old. Just the one that I'm missing after all these years. But yeah, it's like it is, I think you can still get it. It's like the GSR, so it's like the very much like entry Geo, it says there. So yeah, like the very much the entry level, really like standard jazz pickups. So I use that for this track. You can hear it's quite clicky, but for the verse, I wanted to do the Fieldy from Korn style bass guitar. And because it's thumb slapping, I needed a bit extra low end, and so I did that on a separate track, because going between the two, the Fieldy style amp setting was then becoming super aggressive for these choruses, just way too bassy. So I did a separate track for the thumb slapping bit, and I was looking, I knew that Fieldy used a Mesa Boogie bass amp, and there was one available on this software, but it just didn't seem to quite work. It didn't, maybe it's because of the pickups I was using were so basic. So I used this amp here. I don't know what it's based on, but there's a lot of high end. I stuck a compressor in the front, and all that together with a thumb slappy clicky bass gives us this Korn vibe. So a lot of high end and presence, but with the bass cranked up as well. It's kind of scooped, I guess. The extra low end of the bass helps. In the track, it doesn't lose its bassiness. So let's put it in with the drums. Again, the Limp Bizkit style hip hop kind of beat. And so with this verse being kind of Korn sounding, I wanted to do some guitar tracks. From what I remember of Korn, when it came to verses and quieter parts, you would have guitar parts, but the guitarist Head Monkey would have like crazy effects over the guitars. So I did that for this verse. Look at this. So this is the amp situation. I used Guitar Rig 6 this time rather than Bias Effects, which I usually use for guitars, because I know Native Instruments have some crazy stuff going on. So there's delay, there is a drive, dirt, more delay, the reverb. I guess it's that. It feels like it should have more than that, but so this is it without. Yep. Oh, not you. And then this is the riff once I put the effects over it. And then the other part, and this is using this a couple of oscillators. Freak is the oscillator. Freak on a leash. And so again, this riff is just a note, a bend, and here it is without. Yep. And then this is it with the effects in it. And so these are the two guitar. Yep, that is really it. These are the two guitar parts combined. And then we're bringing that bass. And then the drums. And that was that. That's the verse. For the second part of the bridge, I did this. Again, it's kind of a corn sounding vibe. And drums. So the guitars are just a drone, kind of. And then having a tom-led beat. Going back to the chorus. And then what have we got? And this is the second bridge, so I've added the clicky bass this time. And then this leads to another chorus, which again, very much corn, freaking a leash kind of vibe. And I added some of the effects from the original. So this bit here, a little clock sound. Yeah, freaking a leash kind of vibe. I've turned all the mic levels down for this video, so it might not sound as well mixed. There's a little bit of the original track going behind there as well, so. And I'll come on to that in a sec, why I put that in. Part of the fail section. And yeah, that was about it. Another chorus. And that was pretty much it. So it was a lot of fun, kind of nostalgic, creating this early Y2K, late 90s Y2K rock stuff. I said in the comment of the person who requested the track that I would maybe try and get some scratchy samples, but I'm not going to put the vocals here because I don't want to get another copyright thing. But there was not really an opportunity to like stick in. I really wanted to put some like DJ Lethal full-on scratching. I was going to try and download some scratching noises, but try to find something that was in key at the right BPM. Although I could have maybe shifted it and whatnot. It was more just finding the space to put it in. There was some stuff on the original that kind of made up for it, but you can't really hear it too well. In between the vocals, there's like those little bits like that. So there are some bits in there, but I couldn't really bring them up. So I put them, I've got like the instrumental here as well, so I could put in these clock noises, a little bit of these synthy bits. See, there's like bits there that I put in. So they're in there, but they were maybe a bit quieter. Should have maybe made them a bit louder. But yeah, if you know any good plugins for making some scratchy noises, let me know. So yeah, so that's about it. That's how I came about doing this little nostalgic Numetal remix. Hope you like the tune. If you've got any requests, any styles, let me know. I've got some videos coming up. I'm going to do some stuff with my baritone guitar. I'll do some... now that I've got everything fixed with OBS, I should be able to get some more fun little videos going. Some random remixes, some new stuff. Got no plans for what I'd like to make music-wise for myself. If you go to my website, makeatune.co.uk, there's a blog of all the stuff I did last year, a Genty EP, all the remixes. There's a little breakdown of all the stuff I did last year. And yeah, I know, apologies for taking about a month and a half to get going, but it feels good, back on track, and I look forward to making some more tunes and sharing it with you. So, catch you later.